This was supposed to be the wedding the girl had always dreamed of, but just as she was waiting for her childhood sweetheart groom to appear, her best friend suddenly delivered devastating news. He's not coming. The girl was instantly stunned. She couldn't believe that the boyfriend she loved so deeply would abandon her at such a moment. A few years later, the man who had abandoned her, Liam, through relentless effort, became a household name superstar, driving countless young women crazy for him. But even so, that unfinished wedding remained a knot in Liam's heart that he could never untangle. So on that very morning, just after waking up, when he found his shabby phone, so unworthy of his status, crushed under the girl's foot, his expression instantly turned flustered. Liam then rushed out without hesitation, and even as countless fans chased desperately behind him, he ignored it all, storming anxiously into a phone repair shop.
I'll give anyone $10,000 if they can fix my phone. $10,000!
Oh my God.
Everyone was shocked by Liam's sudden arrival, and the manager obsequiously offered to replace Liam's phone with the latest model for free, just in exchange for an autograph. But Liam refused. Only after the manager personally repaired the phone, a familiar voice suddenly came from within.
April 9th, one saved message.
Hi, Liam. It's me, Josie.
Liam's heart instantly turned sour, because on the thorn-filled road of chasing his dream, Josie's voice had always been his only comfort. What he didn't know was that the threads of fate were about to connect them again. Because when he returned home, a piece of news suddenly caught his attention. His best childhood friend had died in an accident. Liam's expression grew heavy, so in order to send off his friend for the last time, he went back to his long-lost hometown, against his agent's objections. But he didn't know how to face the familiar faces, so he could only sit quietly, far away from the crowd. But when he stood up, he once again saw the figure that haunted his soul. Even though he tried to maintain a calm appearance, inside he was shaken like a stormy sea. But when he saw the little girl beside Josie, who looked so much like her, a bitter taste rose in his heart. And then, under the colorful glass dome of the church, lying in the wooden coffin was not only Liam's best friend, but also his unspeakable longing for Josie. Yet Josie knew nothing of this. Instead, after the memorial, she went straight to Liam, and the very next second, that punch made Liam immediately curl up into a ball, and when his long-absent father saw this, he only shook his head and walked away. Clearly, Liam's sudden departure years ago had already broken everyone's hearts. The next day, after an awkward greeting with his father, when he saw his late mother's roses left untended, Liam, full of guilt, finally made a life-changing decision. So he called his agent Sam, unaware that because of his sudden disappearance, the outside world was in an uproar, with countless people speculating about his whereabouts. But he didn't care. After asking Sam to bring his luxury car, he rode his high school bicycle back to town. To his surprise, the cashier turned out to be his high school classmate. So nervously, he asked about Josie. But the girl's expression instantly changed, and with polite disdain, she drove him away, showing no excitement at meeting a celebrity, which made Liam feel a deep sense of failure, and he left in dejection. Then, he unexpectedly saw that haunting figure entering a flower shop, and this encounter would unlock a secret buried for 8 years.
Hi.
I'm with the customer.
Liam froze in awkward silence until the customer paid, then followed Josie out. But unexpectedly, the kind-looking old man's face suddenly changed.
Idiot.
Clearly, Liam abandoning Josie at the wedding had already earned everyone's contempt. But Josie, having moved on, didn't care. Instead, she said words that cut Liam even deeper.
Have you noticed that in the past 8 years, no one, and I mean no one, in this little town of ours has ever spoken to the press about you or your life here ever? Have you also noticed that no one's taken a picture of you, posted it on Facebook, Instagram, nothing? Now, why do you suppose that is, Liam?
Because I walked out on you.
Liam, it's because you left us all that day. The entire town. But you don't belong here anymore, Liam.
After speaking, Josie told Liam to leave quickly. But before he could explain anything, Josie's daughter Billy appeared, instantly making Josie nervous. The little girl's words sent a shock through the previously casual Liam.
Hey, I know you. You're that country star my mama listens to sometimes.
Although Josie lied that it was just a coincidence, Liam had already seen through it, and when he asked Billy's age, the truth that would shock everyone was revealed.
I'm losing my baby teeth much later than everyone else at my age. I mean, they don't even have the tiniest little wiggle yet. But I'm 7.
Liam was stunned, because Billy's age was exactly the time he had left, and Billy was also the name of his late mother, making him realize everything. Seeing she could hide it no longer, Josie sent her daughter away and finally told the truth.
I didn't find out that I was pregnant until a couple weeks after our wedding day. What was supposed to be our wedding day.
She admitted she had once called Liam and left messages, but they all went to voicemail. So she decided never to contact him again, and kept the secret that Billy was his daughter.
Named her after my mom, Josie.
I did that for your dad, Liam. She loves him so much.
In that moment, Liam's world was turned upside down. But before he could apologize, Josie's brother suddenly walked in. Faced with his hostility, Liam could only leave in dejection, storming off to confront his father. It turned out that after Liam had run away from home, his father had attended his very first concert. But no matter how he tried to prove their relationship, it was useless. And in the end, the security guards threw him out as a fraud. Liam was speechless, and after his father expressed his disappointment and walked away, Liam's heart was pierced deeply.
You were such a good kid. You were a great son. You were great to your friends, and you were so in love with Josie. What happened to you, Liam? The guy I saw in Seattle that night, I knew that Billy and Josie were just better off without him.
His father, a pastor who had never said anything cruel in his life, at that moment called Liam his shame. This drove Liam into deep self-doubt again, questioning his immature choice from years ago. So to make amends, when the townspeople gathered to pray for his friend, he stood humbly at the door like a devout believer to express his apology. Finally, guided by his father, the blame and resentment dissolved into an embrace. He was forgiven by everyone, but he couldn't undo the hurt he caused Josie, only watching her figure fade into the distance. Then, back at home, he once again opened that shabby phone. Though time passes and appearances change, Liam's longing for Josie was like aged wine, growing richer with time. When Sam delivered his car and credit cards, Liam still gathered the courage to go to Josie's flower shop.
I want to see Billy. I'm not going to cause any trouble. It can all be on your terms, but she's my daughter too. Josie, whether you like it or not.
A flicker of hesitation flashed across Josie's eyes, but she knew how important a father was to his daughter. So after sending Liam away back home, Josie deliberately brought up her father to Billy. But the little girl had already seen through everything.
From outside the church and the flower shop, right? You two weren't exactly subtle, if you know what I mean.
Josie was surprised by Billy's wisdom, but not wanting her emotions to affect her daughter, she finally told her about Liam. Josie finally let out a sigh of relief, and meanwhile, Liam called Sam to ask how to be a good father, because for him, this too was a great challenge. And although Sam was surprised, he still supported Liam's decision. Until evening came, Liam finally had the chance to have dinner with Josie and her daughter, and he gave Josie a precious necklace. But as time went by, past love and hatred had long since blurred in the river of time. And Liam awkwardly realized that because he had missed Billy's childhood, he knew nothing about his daughter's preferences. And even giving her a giant stuffed animal could not spark the slightest interest.
You don't mind me calling you Liam, do you? Since I don't know you well enough to call you Dad.
Billy Ann, what's gotten into you?
What? It's the truth. I said I wanted to meet him, but I never said I'd be easy on him.
She's got a point.
Yet despite this, the bond of blood still made them instinctively close to each other. Billy even showed Liam her room, and the photos hanging all over the walls made Liam truly realize what he had missed. So he no longer rushed to earn Billy's approval. Instead, he quietly listened to his daughter's trivial thoughts, finally improving the impression Billy had of him. However, although inexperienced Liam was nervous, he still couldn't hold back his excitement and told Josie, only to provoke her resentment.
You're gone for 8 years and now you want to pick up my daughter from school?
Our daughter.
I can't.
And I want to be here, Josie. I want to get to know Billy. Give me the opportunity to do that.
Then Liam went further, kneeling on one knee to beg for forgiveness, which finally made Josie agree to Liam's request, and the next day, she went with him to Billy's school. At this moment, Sam called, but Liam didn't even think before hanging up, unwilling to let him disturb his time with Josie. But unexpectedly, when Josie caught a glimpse of his old phone wrapped in tape, she couldn't help but feel a little satisfied, because it was a birthday gift she had given Liam back in high school, though Liam stubbornly refused to admit it. Then Josie was suddenly called away by a phone call, but Liam would not miss this rare opportunity. So with his father's help, he took Billy, who refused to sit in the convertible, back home and played beautiful music for his daughter. At this moment, time was peaceful and life was calm. Their simple company felt like fine wine aged by the years, unconsciously intoxicating Liam. And it was this unintentional act that made him discover Billy's unparalleled talent. Because when Liam went to the kitchen, Billy picked up the guitar on her own and started playing, instantly leaving Liam in shock.
Play the guitar?
Nope. By watching what you just did.
It turned out that Billy only needed to hear it once to mimic the melody almost perfectly, which filled Liam with joy, and he promised to give Billy a better guitar, making Billy throw herself into his arms before they parted. Liam's heart trembled, but after Billy left, he told Josie about their daughter's musical gift and suggested they choose a suitable guitar together for Billy. But Josie immediately saw through Liam's hidden intentions.
Nothing's gonna happen between us, Liam.
I never said it was.
Although she said so with her mouth, with Billy's help, the family still began to see each other frequently. They would play beautiful music together on sunny afternoons, and Josie and Liam's father became the best listeners, together reviving the years they had lost. Liam even put aside all his work, shifting his focus entirely to family, buying his father a brand new coffee machine, tending his late mother's garden, and Josie and Billy actively joined in, as if everything had returned to normal. They lived like a real family of three, experiencing the beauty of life in the simple years, until one day when Billy, tired from playing, suddenly asked the question she had always wondered about.
What happened? I mean, why'd you leave my mama?
Liam was slightly taken aback, and outside the door Josie waited for his answer until he finally spoke. It was one afternoon, 8 years ago, when he was unexpectedly discovered by a record company executive, and one song quickly swept the world. But he didn't know how to deal with the impact of sudden fame, and in the temptation of fame and fortune, he made the wrong choice, then with time lost the courage to admit his mistake. So he told his daughter that he had gotten lost and couldn't find the way home. And this belated guilt, though seemingly as light as grass, was like a migratory bird flying across mountains, like rivers rushing for thousands of miles, finding the answer he had long searched for. It was the message of coming home. It was the flower blooming after a long wait. In the end, Billy finally called out the title that had been absent for 8 years, which made Liam impatiently tell Josie about it. And in the glow of the setting sun, the two hearts that had missed each other for so long began to draw closer, finally melting into misty tears in their eyes, seeping into every corner of their hearts, making Josie finally make her choice.
Think maybe you could drive me home?
Dad, I'm gonna drive Josie home.
Her father listened and immediately smiled with relief, and in that moment, the breeze brushed Josie's hair, as if 8 years of gloom had ended completely. Yet, no one knew that fate always plants its fuse in laughter, and all that seems strong cannot withstand its light sigh.
I would love to go on a date with the Liam Page.
Liam laughed out loud, and the next day, after Josie dressed up with her daughter's help, a luxury car appeared at her door on time, taking her to a mysterious place. And the gentle-eyed Liam had long been waiting, watching the girl of his dreams walk step by step toward him, as if 8 years of longing finally reached fulfillment. Then he took Josie onto his private jet, letting all his love melt into the glow of the sunset. Finally, when the plane landed at the most luxurious hotel in New York, the very next second, a crowd of reporters swarmed in, but Liam didn't hide anything, directly confessing Josie's identity publicly. Everyone was stunned and could only watch with envy as Josie, like a princess, rode away in a carriage, unaware that an unknown storm was about to begin. Because just days later, at a family gathering, in an atmosphere of peace and harmony, Billy accidentally choked on food, instantly throwing everyone into panic. But at this life and death moment, Liam, as a father, only stood frozen, as memories of his mother's death in childhood flooded his mind, and watching his daughter suffer, fear and helplessness once again drowned him until he finally walked away under Jake's disappointed gaze. Soon after, Jake found him, filled with anger, and harshly questioned him.
My little niece was choking, and you just sat there, Liam. I mean, she could have died if she'd been alone with you. Josie finally managed to rebuild her life, and it'll destroy him.
At that moment, Liam's last courage was shattered. Years ago, he had abandoned Josie for unknown reasons, and now he realized that perhaps his existence was still a nightmare for Josie and her daughter. So after much hesitation, he chose once again to leave without saying goodbye, pushing Josie's newly kindled hope back into despair. Billy felt deeply disappointed, but Liam didn't know, instead returning to his life of the spotlight. Yet even so, when he saw Josie's photo in a magazine, the emptiness in his heart was clear, and he could only numb himself with endless work, unaware that those who had once seen dawn could never endure the night again. And his longing for Josie and his daughter tormented him constantly, until Sam noticed something wrong and Liam finally told him what had happened that day, admitting that he wasn't a normal man and couldn't give his daughter a complete home. But Sam, knowing the truth, pointed it out bluntly. Sam told him, "Maybe we all mess things up, but what matters is what you do after you mess up, because true love needs to be maintained with effort, not avoided when problems appear." His words instantly enlightened Liam, and without his boss's permission, he bravely ran off the plane. He finally had the courage to reply to Josie's old messages, telling her that he had listened to them every day for the past 8 years, but had chosen to run away because of his youth. So this time he rushed to Josie's house without hesitation, only to be too late, as there was no response he had hoped for. But he didn't yet understand that the greatness of love lies in understanding, tolerance, and forgiveness at the right time. So when the long-awaited figure appeared the next day, Liam could hardly believe his eyes. She asked Liam if he had really kept that old phone for 8 years and if he would truly never leave again. And this time, Liam immediately gave a firm answer, letting all the grievances of the years dissolve completely. Because true love is not about how long it can stay fresh, but whether after long years it still holds the same feelings as in the beginning. So after going through all of this, Liam finally accepted an imperfect version of himself and chose to spend the rest of his life making up for past mistakes. And this time, it would be for life.